All right, fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it with a bucket. We're back, man. Fuck it. This is your host, Lord of Lips here, man. And I'm having mad technical difficulties again. And I'm not excited about it, but still had to come to you live. This is episode 29 of a live stream. Um, I'm off my telephone right now, so it is limited access, limited features. I do have the visuals going. As of last time, it was just a blackout stream. But yeah, please, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share. You guys all know the deal. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Will be in the chat. Appreciate all the love. My man was trying to donate to me last time, and I'll have to get that together and stuff. But let's go ahead and get into the topics. Let me make sure that I am live streaming to my other multi platforms and stuff and see if we got that going here. Okay. And we do. So, um, yeah, I was talking a little bit earlier, and I think there's some good ass NBA games on right now. Um, think, let me see. Yeah, we got a heavy slate of games today. I think the Lakers and Thunder play a little bit later, if I'm not mistaken. Lakers and Thunder play tonight. All right, they're actually playing right now. A little rematch from a couple of days ago. The Lakers curb stomped down. Yesterday was the championship game in college. Uh, Florida ended up coming away victorious, or I'm sorry, not Florida. Um, Florida ended up coming away victorious yesterday after Houston kind of led and controlled most of the game. They came out in that first half and pretty much set the tempo, had the physicality they needed to win and stuff like that, but they kind of just blew it in the end. And then you had the last final possession where the guy didn't even get a shot off. And I felt like I had seen that play just recently, like a week or two ago. I still haven't figured out who I seen do it. I think it was in the NBA where somebody tried to do the same thing in a clutch moment where they try to shoot. It was on the other side of the floor. They tried to shoot the ball. It got contested, and they dropped the ball, and they couldn't touch it. I can't remember where I seen it, but I swear I just seen that not too long ago. Maybe it was a Warriors game. I feel like it might have been a Warriors game, but I'm not quite sure. Before I had in the previous stream, I was talking about. Shout out to whoever's in the chat. I was talking about the market space of content creators and how it's really, really whack. It's really fucking whack how you got famous people stepping on the little guys again. All the content creators like myself and other people. Oh, we got some people in the chat. Shout out to you, Liv. Shout out to you, Bella. Can I get a shout out? Yeah, Jesus is King. Shout out to you. Hey, boy, Passover is coming up, Jesus. What you doing out and about? You better hide from them Romans. I don't know why Jesus is King is in the chat. Passover is coming up in about 2 weeks. You know you got to be hiding. Hail Mary. But anyways, um, just something that's really been on my mind a lot lately is just how annoying it is, and I hope Mr. Trump, Mr. 47, put some tariffs on podcast equipment because it's so fucking annoying how everybody has a podcast, and I know it's kind of like the butt of all jokes, and it's been the funny thing for the last few years, really since like 2019. Um, just the amount of podcasts. Like here we are in the middle of war, middle of trade wars, middle of all these different things, and like all Americans are doing is getting fatter and fucking speaking more and more, like, becoming more and more guests on more and more different podcasts. Like that's all we're doing. We just talk a good game. Everybody has a podcast. Everybody sits around a mic and talks their shit on a podcast. Um, Shout out to you. Shout out to Liv. You guys I'm gonna have to send you guys invites. I have to send you guys invites. But yeah, it's just really annoying when I see like celebrities who already like conquered another industry. You got NBA players, you got NFL players starting podcasts, you got Paul George, Gilbert Arenas, you got Gavin Newsom in the politic world, Michelle Obama, Then you got comedians that Kevin Hart, all these people that already mastered their industry and mastered another craft coming in the podcast space where that's for us, dude. And then here y'all are. That's y'all's way of controlling the narrative still. Because the beautiful thing about podcasts, well, podcast is going to go down as the most influential art form in the last century, and it really broke the back of American media or Western propaganda or whatever, however you want to look at it. But podcasting really cracked the code for that, and I think that the big wigs, I think there's some sort of controlled opposition to kind of etch us out, small content creators who normally spread more of the truth and less of the propaganda because we don't have nobody that we're normally answering to. So we just kind of give you the information that we see fit or that we've obtained, and we kind of just share it. We share it freely. Shout out to Shane in the chat. Where the fuck the function? My dude said, "What up, fam? I remember you from high school. This Lamar." I'm not sure who you are. Make yourself known, dog. I'm on my phone, so it's really hard to kind of see your AVI. But shout out to you, my dog. Nonetheless, long story short, yeah, it's really annoying when I see like famous people in the podcast space. Like, leave that shit for us, and let that be our avenue. But I feel like they're fighting back. Draymond Green calls it like the new media, and the new media is fucking awful. Draymond Green for years have been accusing the media of, propaganda and not treating the players fairly and all this shit like that. And we talked about this last stream when it came to the NBA, which I don't want to get on again, but their critique of the media and how they're fighting back and how they're complaining and shit like that. But I think that their way of fighting back, like the Empire Strikes Back, is that they just decided to control their own narrative, which I don't blame them for necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Because controlling your own narrative is very important, especially when we live in a totally subsidized, like, just propaganda machine. For instance, like I call ESPN Entertainment Sports Propaganda Network, because that's what I think ESPN is. And it's just pure propaganda. And same with Fox News and CNN and all these different media sources that we typically used to go to in the past. Is just pure propaganda. It's just pure propaganda, barely based in truth and facts. It's half truths. And podcasting really opened up the lane for there to be a multitude of different viewpoints, because I was taught that, I mean, that's the importance of the freedom of speech. That's the importance of freedom of speech. So that way, you can never suppress people's right to free speech. That way, we can actually see what is what. But that's just really my take. My ultimate take is I really seriously hope that somehow there is fundamental 100% tariffs on all podcast equipment starting tonight. That's what I want Mr. Donald Trump to do. I also would love for y'all to leave Morgan Wallen's fucking songs alone and stop remixing his shit. Also, the LeBron remixes are horrible. I was going to fucking go off on a tangent and kind of share all those LeBron remixes that I've seen, but I don't have access to do that. Nobody else is in the chat right now. So where do we really want to start? There's a lot going on, man. We got... I really didn't talk about last stream. I really couldn't talk about the Nokia video. Don't start that. Don't start that. I ain't doing the bot shit, so don't even start that. What do you mean I am bored? Okay, that don't mean you get on here and say you love me. I don't know you. He said that's hate. No, Shane, they're just bots, and that's just ridiculous. Although he said they snapped on brownies. No. Have you been seeing the Liv said me? I don't know what that means. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Liv. It's in the link. I'm live streaming there, so you go over to my YouTube channel and you subscribe if you want to help me. Also, right here in the left, there is the donate button. If you love me, show me you love me. What do you mean, but like? No, donate. Donate. That's how you do that. Anyways, can we start with? He said, "Yeah, I seen the LeBron ones." No, I wasn't asking about the LeBron ones. I've been seeing like everybody doing this, like, and I know my dude Shane is down in the H, so they do a lot of line dancing and shit down south. And I've been seeing on my algorithm. She said, "Go to Mines, girl. You on my shit. You need to subscribe to my page." Anyways, they've been doing that Morgan Wallen Dangerous. Let me see if I can find it. Morgan Wallen. It's a banger. You know, they remixed that in that Twister song. Let's see. She said you could look up mine. I hope I don't get struck down for this. Ooh. This is not what Morgan Wallen intended. Yeah, I'll subscribe if you subscribe. You subscribe first, and I'll subscribe to your page. All right, so Shane said they was doing. Come on. Shane said they was doing it at a rodeo. Well, that's kind of dope. Yeah, Liv, I'll subscribe to your page if you subscribe to mine. I don't have your information, so you have mine accessible. So please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll go ahead and do that for you. But anyways, damn, I kind of lost my train of thought on what I was talking about. Elon Musk has been in the news for multitude of different things. Seems like him and Trump are going through a Hollywood divorce, like Shane predicted. My friend Shane said that Trump was going to get rid of Elon, or Elon was going to get rid of Trump, one of the two. And we've seen the results to the Wisconsin election that did not turn in favor of Mr. Musk. And then now I haven't been seeing a lot from Doge lately. But now we're seeing that he's going to step away for a little bit, and that he is disagreeing with some of the tariffs, the tariff strategy that Mr. Donald J. Trump is kind of shooting for. And now a lot of that could be stemmed from, Shane said he's right and exact. A lot of that can stem from Elon's. Me personally, I don't know how you guys feel. I don't think it's this. I think Elon, I got to give Elon credit. He's a little bit more shrewd, and he's not as surface level as this. But some people say that, the tariffs obviously affect him economically with his business with Tesla and his parts and materials and all those things like that. So they directly affect him. So he's not for the tariffs. I think that that's a little bit null and void. I think that that's a little bit surface level for Elon. I think he's after something a little bit more sinister. What I do find interesting is what China put out, their little video they put out today, which I thought was really, really, really funny, where, we're in the talks of, we'll get into the trade war and stuff like that, but we're in talks, obviously, with onshoring a whole bunch of factories and a whole bunch of jobs and stuff like that that had previously left the country and gone elsewhere. But China knows good and damn well that we are not, and I raised this, well, I got to be honest. I talked about it in my last live stream, but my fucking microphone went out for the last 20 minutes and nobody told me. So I was going on and on and on for 20 minutes about this and no one said a thing. But anyways, I mentioned last live stream that America has not proven that she is able to sustain her quality of life and her standard of living without child labor, sweatshops, slaves, cotton mills, all of these different industries and stuff like that throughout her history, that has catapulted her to the great superpower that she is. America, Shane said he was looking at a black screen the whole time. Yes, the black screen was intended because my audio was messed up and my visuals was messed up. I'm on my phone right now, man. I cannot get my Restream to log in on my computer, and it's really, really, really annoying me because I don't have all access to all the features that I need to really. I like sharing my screen and doing all types of different shit. But anyways, I'll have to get that figured out by Saturday or Thursday, my next stream. Anyways, I mentioned that America still hasn't proven this. And I don't know why a lot of people don't talk about this, but it'd be really interesting. Donald Trump is trying to make us a self-sufficient economy, and a self-sufficient nation, through materials, through labor, through economics, through trade, and all these other different things, which I mentioned in all of my previous live streams, up to the election cycle. That was his goal, is for us to be a self-governing, self-efficient nation, and he was going to isolate us in that. I mean, every move that he has made has kind of indicated that. And now we're seeing a trade war. We're seeing actual boots on the ground wars. We're seeing drone wars. We're seeing all different types of things. He's really shaking up the world order as we know it, which I have to say, whether you're a fan or not, I've never seen this ever in my life. Now, I'm just 28 years old. I've lived through the Bush administration. I mean, I was alive for Clinton, but not aware. The Bush administration, I was aware of the second term. Obama, both terms, and I was pretty aware then. Trump, Biden, Trump again. And I must say, I've never thought that a president would shake up the world order or world economics, global trade, or anything like that. Because usually they kind of go along with the they go along with the flow of everything that's already kind of going on. They come in and make little small tweaks and stuff like that, and we go in a certain direction for 4 years or so, 2 years, 4 years. But this time around, we're 2 months into this administration, and they have shaken up a lot of shit, whether good or bad. You think about the deportation situation. You think about Doge. You think about the El Salvador situation. You think about the war. You think about the trade. All these different things that are going on simultaneously. It's like, ooh, we're in for a long. You got to think that's 36. We're in for a long. We got about another 46 months. Another 46 months of this. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this kind of turns out. But ultimately, what I was saying is that America has not proven herself. Let's see what Shane has to say. Because it's idiotic. Nothing done so sudden and abrupt can be managed. Okay. And Shane probably has a little insight on economics and stuff like that. But I would be curious to, and I like to pick your brain with this. I would be curious to see what lens you're looking at this from, because although I agree with you, you also know I have a whole nother, what I would say, more, not libertarian, more nationalist, or I don't know what the word is I'm looking for right now, but I have another way of looking at this whole situation. But from your lens that I'm going to try to put on your glasses with, I think you're right. But here's my pushback. Here's my pushback to the whole nation, is that obviously we know our deficit. Obviously we know the situation that America is in. I think we all know that it's going to take, and I said this last live stream, I think we all know it's going to take drastic measures for us to even circumvent anything that we need to circumvent. So would we ever get behind any president that actually was trying to make change? Would we possibly get behind them? Or would it look like this? Would it look something like this? I don't think anybody that is going to do something small, drop in the bucket, 2 tiers in the bucket, would be able to do anything. I have another comment here. So it says, if the goal is to just cause chaos and destroy a system so it can be built up, then he's doing a good job. But I don't believe that he's playing the long game it would take to see his plan through. And that is okay. And then we have another one here. Um, and I don't think narcissistic Trump is doing this to set up the next president. Good points. I don't believe he's doing this to set up the next president. In fact, I said last live stream, I don't think, I mean, well, he's talking about running another, potentially a third time. We'll see about this. I think that these guys are a little bit more clever. This is how I always believe. I'm really heavy into esoteric information and kind of readings and stuff like that. And I just believe that all of the presidents follow some sort of timeline, whether that be through their form of their higher power or the higher power that may be. But I feel like everything is followed on the timing, and I don't know if we'll see another administration in. I think that automation, like we've been saying for a long time, automation is heavily to be considered, and that's what I was kind of talking about with the China situation. The little video they put out was a whole bunch of fat Americans in factories, producing our own goods, producing our own tech, producing our own things, and they were saying like, yeah, right, like let's get real, Mr. President, like you guys aren't even fit to do this war with us. Like, let's just be realistic about this. Even if you guys bring onshore jobs and bring factories back and all this and shit like that, you're gonna get your fat fucking cow up off the couch. You're gonna get your fat fucking pig out of the playpen. You're gonna get all these people that like to do TikTok. Like, who are you gonna get to work these jobs? And then that's where Sam Altman and Stargate and all these things. That's where they're already kind of looking at anyway. Um, And I heard Lutnick talking about this. They were talking about the tariffs, and they were kind of challenging them because there's a lot with these tariffs and stuff. The whole situation in with the penguins and putting tariffs on places that we don't even actively do trade with. And Lutnick's response was that no, Donald Trump kind of sees past this, and um, we've already dealt with this kind of stuff before, and we know with China, with the tariffs that we have already placed on them before, they send their materials through New Mexico, and then it gets imported to us from there, so that they don't directly face the tariff. So he's putting them on all these different places. So at any turn that you go, there's going to be a tariff associated with that import. So, anyways, my point is that automation, it has to be considered when we're talking about these things coming up with the tariff and the trade war. I had a friend ask earlier today, he wonders who's going to who's going to duke it out, who's going to survive this trade war, or like how long, who can outlast who. And when it comes to that, I think obviously China is a little bit more fit when it comes to the trade war, just sheerly based off of numbers and any economic sense. The amount of stuff, I mean, everybody loves to move, and everybody loves Sheen, and everybody loves TikTok and all these things. These are Chinese-made products that they literally shove down the American consumer. We're the biggest consumer on the globe, and then my people are the biggest consumer in America. So that's a two-front war there. But just speaking more globally, the American people just consume product, and the whole rest of the world knows. That's why you got the yellow man setting up shop here in Chinatown. That's why you got the Indian setting up shop here. You got the Arab setting up shop here doing. I mean, you got everybody setting up shop here because they know that Americans is big consumers. We're going to spend that money. We're going to buy. We're not going to set up shop on our own. We're not going to, we don't do much on our own. We just consume. And that leads us to the spot that we're in now. We have a trade deficit on all nations across, I mean, just everywhere there's a trade deficit. Now, a lot of that, because Trump is kind of, like Shane said, how he's going about it is a little bit abrupt and a little bit dangerous and stuff like that. I think 17 countries now are willing to negotiate some of the trade deals and try to get a new trade deal going on. China said that they're ready to go. They're gonna go pound for pound with us. I guess that 104% tariff is now in effect with China and any imports from China. So we'll see what this causes. But the whole global market was in a frenzy all week long since well, we had Liberation Day last week, and people were still kind of like, I don't know if he's really going to do this. But ever since the first bit of this has been enacted, the global market has been a disaster. I know apparently it's bounced back today, and stuff like that. Yesterday and the day before, um, or Friday, it was a mess, and people are complaining left and right about their 401ks and their Roth accounts and all these different the S&P 500 and all these different indexes and investing accounts, which understandably, that could be very, very worrisome. You got your life savings, and especially for people, obviously people closer towards retirement and stuff like that, where it's like they can't recover from shit like that. So that's when the global economy is really, really important for them, and that's why this, they're glued to their screens trying to really figure out what's going on, and monitor that closely, to see if they need to withdraw and move money to different accounts and and those kind of things. But ultimately, my point is that I feel like in theory, not in theory, but in principle, in principle, I like somebody shaking shit up. Now, me, you could just call me I shouldn't say this on my stream. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say on my stream, but um, I like seeing shit being shook up. I don't think I do have stuff invested. I do have money to be lost and stuff like that. Not big money, but I do have money in different accounts and stuff like that. So I do have a leg in this, but I just think the global structure, the cabal that we serve, I just think that the deep state or anything that I truly believe that we serve, I think it just needs to be shit. I don't give a fuck how it turns out. I want to see this shit. I want to see these motherfuckers go to war. I want to see them shit. I want to see them put it on the floor. Whether it's us in China, Iran, whatever it is, I think shit needs to be shaken up. And I must admit that a lot is being done. A lot is being done. Now um, China is threatening to limit our access to rare earth minerals. I think we'll have plenty of that after the Ukraine and Russia war is done, but that's just me. Also, some of the spots where there were major storms happen to be access to some rare earth minerals. So we'll see how that goes. Situation in South Africa, rare earth minerals. So we'll see how that goes. Congo, rare earth minerals. We'll see how that goes. But China is limiting our access to it. And China is obviously fit to take us out in the deep end and go to war with them. Now, the question becomes, can Trump strike a deal with all these other nations and stuff like that? Will they bend the knee? Will they bend the knee and he strikes new deals? He's claiming that they've already brought in $2 billion. $2 billion. Elon and Doge has already claimed that they've reached their goal of the $1 trillion deficit cut that Doge was implemented for. Trump saying $2 billion a day. So let's say it even stays at the $2 billion a day. Let's say everything flatlining. I'm just using him for his word. If that is true, $2 billion a day, you 2x that. You 365 days a year, 2x that. That's $700 billion. Let's say we bring in $3 billion a day just off of cutting the trade deficit. And so that's another $1 trillion off of the deficit. And I can't even tell you the last president. I think it was I can't remember exactly who it is off the top. I think the early 2000s or late 90s is the last time we've even cut into the deficit. So if he is able to do that, if he's able to isolate China to where we're only in a trade war with China, you have to say that that might be a win. Now, can we withstand that for a long time? And the question also becomes, and they've asked him this, and they've asked his press secretary, they've asked the his financial advisors and stuff like that. Well, how long are these tariffs in place? Is it a set deadline? Is it a week? Is it a couple months? Like, what is the deal? And I'm just saying, everybody, lace your bootstraps. I think we're in for a long time when it comes to China. I think these other countries, India, and these other nations and stuff, we'll see how that comes. And if you guys think that these, Shane said, we've been in a deficit since Bush, right? So if you guys think that these trade wars is only going to be an economic thing, you sadly do not understand our military industrial complex, and they will do things. There will be things done. Now, I think we'll have to see with China. There is going to be chess pieces around China, Russia, Iran, all these different things. We'll be getting fed a lot of fucking propaganda over this period of time. I mean, they're already doing it with the Iran situation. Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb. We literally just heard this last year. Literally last year, that Iran was closer than ever. They were 5 days away from a nuclear weapon, and they can't have a nuclear weapon, and yada, yada, yada. And we must protect Israel at all costs, and this and that and that and this and that. Anyway, stuff like that is going to happen all over the globe with this trade war. Trust me. This is not just going to be met with pauses on imports and exports. Lady, listen here, Liv. Can you look up LLHV? Can you not see that I'm in the middle of the stream talking politics? Crazy. Anyways, this is going to be met with force, and we'll see all types of stuff. And if you guys aren't seeing the full picture being painted for you guys, Trump is trying to send people back to where they come from. Again, Trump is trying to isolate. You got the situation with NATO, the European Union, all these different things where Trump said America first. And where does that leave us? Where does that simply leave us? And is he able to galvanize us enough, even if he is successful in making America first, putting America first? I challenge anybody, and I just want to know the information on when have we really been a self-sufficient nation, and how well can we do without the help of the cobalt mines and sweatshops and making these products for 3 cents on the dollar and then selling it for $7. How well can our American? Do we know that this American experiment works? She said, bro, hours earlier you said you would. Oh my God. Yeah, so we'll have to see when it comes to that. Now, Trump also was in the White House with Mr. Demon himself, Bibi Netanyahu. He pulled him and pushed him in his chair and gave him a cup of coffee and everything. And Trump, oh my goodness, I mean, it's almost like I'm in a movie sometimes with these people. Like, it's almost like they just have, either they are literally choosing not to acknowledge historical facts and evidence, or they absolutely have to follow a script. Let's read this. Shane says, damn it, hold on. Shane says, never, but we consume to the point that is actually stimulates the economy, unlike China or other countries that are based on production. What was your never to? What was your never to when you said that? Because because I think I agree with what you're saying. I don't think that we're able to sustain. Okay, here we go. So saying we only consume sometimes is said out of context because we consume to such a substantial level that it is good for us, unlike a lot of other places. Okay. Um, okay. Are you meaning in the sense of because sometimes consuming so much and getting that trade in our consuming mentality and our thirst and hunger for that consumption can cause it to stimulate the domestic domestic economy because we get that stuff imported and then it travels around our nation and stuff like that. So is that what you're saying? Because yeah, I would agree that's how our economy is stimulated, is really through we import stuff from all over these other nations and stuff like that. We don't really produce much of goddamn anything, and then we stimulate it, we pass that on across our nation. But my point is what happens with she said, if I knew what you are saying, I would be talking about it, but I do not. Okay. That's so cute. Uh, but what happens when we get isolated? What happens when there's a trade war? Let's say this trade war goes completely left, and our biggest trading partner or our biggest trading partners completely shut us off, right? So and also is this a move on, not from China but from us? Is this a move on Taiwan? Is this some sort of ploy to be able to protect Taiwan? We know that China has had their eyes on Taiwan for a while now, even as recent as now today, and somehow now Taiwan. She said, "What are you talking about?" Shane says, we consume at such a rapid rate that the dollar flows so fast that we run that way. Thus, the reason during the pandemic they handed out stimulus checks. Correct. Yeah, we consume so much, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole that I can go down one day. The way that our government and holidays and everything is structured for us to stimulate our economy and continue to spend. They hate. They could not afford for us to all sit. That's why those blackouts and Martin Luther King's economic blackout and stuff like that, and March on Washington Ave, and all those things were really, really important because the number one thing that our government can't afford and that what they hate is when that economy, when that dollar is not flowing in the wind, when it's not circulating through three or four different hands. So when we all get together, and that's our power as a people, is when we all get together and we stop and we halt. And I know we tried to do something like that earlier this year, back in, I can't remember when it was. It was maybe last month or something in March. They did some blackout, but I don't remember anything reporting about it. Target still hasn't recovered, but no, lady, stop. You're about to be blocked, okay? So you just stop, bot, okay? Um, anyways, Shane says, in turn, if everyone in China started spending everything and the factory shut down, it would cripple their economy. Polar opposite. Let me think about this. In turn, if everyone in China started spending everything and the factories shut down, it will cripple their economy. I think China, because they don't have shit to buy. Um, Here's the thing with China. China is the biggest exporter in the world, but I think that they also produce enough. I don't know if they produce enough to stimulate their own economy. The only way that happens is if China is not able to do trade with other nations, which I don't. The way Trump is doing this, to your point, Shane, doesn't pit us versus China. I mean, as I don't mean us as in just America. It doesn't pit NATO versus China. It pits just literally America versus China. And in that case, China will still be able to do trade with other e-commerce. They'll be able to do trade with other nations and stuff like that. So it won't affect them that much. There's not much we provide for China like that. China provides for us. They can provide for their own citizens. Now, I don't know how you provide for that many people, but they're also able to do trade with other nations and stuff like that because our trade war is so vast that it's isolating us. We're not teaming up with France. We're not teaming up with the EU. We're not teaming up with NATO. We're not teaming up with, well, obviously not BRICS and all that, but we're not teaming up with these places to isolate China. No, we're isolating ourselves. So in isolating ourselves, China's off scot-free. If they don't want to do, shout out to Holden in the chat. He said, you're not going to answer Liv. She's literally asking a question. So we're going to literally put ourselves in a situation where my whole point in this for the last 3 or 4, really 6 or 7 months is that we are literally going to isolate ourselves, guys. We are literally isolating ourselves away from NATO. We're isolating ourselves from the European Union. We're isolating ourselves in trade. We're isolating ourselves in military. We're just isolating ourselves. And in doing that, I think listen, it's shit or get off the pot time for Americans. Now, does Stefan think that we're ready for that? Of course I don't. I don't. I think we're fat. I think we're lazy. I think we're out of shape. I think we're uneducated. I think we're really fucking blind. I think we're really naive. I think we're really spoiled. I think we're really pampered. I think we don't even know what the fuck is coming down the pipeline. And I seen something at a store. I think it was a retail store, and they had a tariff surplus charge on their register already, where you had the tax, you had the subtotal, you had the total, you had the taxes, and then you had a tariff charge. And the American people, obviously, we already can't afford anything as is. Right now. Now, is this somehow going to is inflation coming down? Yeah. The real estate market is still disastrous. Obviously, everybody was ranting and raving, going on and on about the price of eggs. What's the quote about the price of tea in China? Like, we are going to leave if you do not answer my question, dude. Lady, what do you want from me, Liv? What do you want from me? We're talking politics, Liv. We're talking politics. Liv, tell us where you're from, Liv. Tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from, Liv. There we go, lady. We're talking about the State of the Union. All right, here's my other beef. Trump mentioned with Bibi Netanyahu in the White House yesterday, and they just continue to abet this literal war criminal. He's literally a war criminal. He literally has warrants out for his arrest from the International Criminal Court. Okay. But of course, America is well above that. Hey, Kiki. Oh, my favorite person in the world. Shout out to my sister in the chat. Shout out to you, Kiki. Liv is from Oklahoma. Okay. Liv is from Oklahoma. So you're talking our language, Liv. You know what's going on. Oklahoma produces a lot of stuff. Oklahoma will be tap your heels, Liv. Tap your heels, Liv. That's all you got to do. Tap your heels and you'll be good. But Bibi Netanyahu gets away. First off, Trump has him in the White House, and they barely talk about anything that's going on. They literally continue to talk about tariffs. And I find it really, really interesting that after everything's been exposed all last year, how much we give to Israel. Thank God. I'm glad that the American people and the American public is waking up to the tentacles that Israel has had a grip hold on our country. They're literally like an octopus. Not only do they occupy Gaza, but they occupy the United States cabinet. They literally occupy our whole cabinet. Our whole governmental body is occupied by Israeli Jewish members. And it's been exposed all last year. So now it's all out in the open. The American people didn't really care that we give them $4 billion and we fund their economy and we fund their defense and stuff like that every fucking year. $4 billion, just like that. Now I know that's a drop in the bucket, but my point is I'm 13. Do not call me ma'am. I don't remember calling you ma'am. Liv, you're gonna have to get out of here. You're 13. That's done. You're done. Block. Okay, Liv is out of here. I don't do no 13-year-olds and stuff like that. Chad Allen said he loves pie. Shout out to you. Man, we got people in the chat. Y'all better drop some comments, man. Anyways, what I was saying, $4 billion goes to them every year. They had tariffs on us. So anytime that we sent them product, they put tariffs on it. We had to pay extra to send them shit. And that's just absolutely absurd that somebody that we would be giving $4 billion to would impose tariffs on us. And what they did do yesterday, what they did come to terms with, is that Israel was renegotiating the tariffs, the trade with us. So I think it's going to be a zero trade balance with Israel. No more tariffs on anything that we give to them and stuff like that. Another thing that is going on is that I think the United States is now going to do away with this something called a de minimis policy, which is that we would not tax any imports that were under $800. We were not putting tax on. So any stuff that was coming on the cargo ships or anything like that was under $800, a whole bunch of cheap material off of Temu and all that shit that we, everybody loves, Sheen and all that shit. Well, we're doing away with that. So now that is now being taxed. I think within the next few weeks that's going to come into place. But back to Bibi Netanyahu. You can't imagine the evil that these people are. And I know that I don't want to use this platform to just always beat up on this community, but some of the shit Donald Trump talked about yesterday, he said, Bibi would have never given them that strip of land. Okay, good question. Chad Allen Smith says, what are the pros and cons on tariffs? Okay, so let me leave that on the screen. What are the pros and cons on tariffs? So from our vantage point, the pros on tariffs, if we're imposing tariffs on other nations, is that we are such consumers, the American people, we are literally the piranha of the global market. And everybody knows it. The American people love to buy other countries' products. Love it. Can't live without it. Phones, cars, material, technologies, clothes, all that comes from somewhere else. So us imposing tariffs on it, they overlook those tariffs because it's still so vital to stimulate their economy, to ship us stuff, to give us stuff, that they'll go ahead and pay whatever the tariff is. So that's the pro for us. Now the cons on tariffs is that they could start a trade war. They could start a trade war in which other countries will, if they have a powerful enough economy, they will impose tariffs on us as well. So now in order for us to do business with them, same thing. We have to pay extra. So if you put a 10% tariff on United States imports, well, anything that we send over to Canada, it's the cost of the material, cost of the shipping, plus the 10% tariff. Shane says some tariffs are good. 104% tariffs is absolutely manic. 104% tariffs is crazy. The funny thing about the 104% tariffs is like, okay, if it's 100%, it's like, okay, you know that if whatever we're sending you is $100, just material, well, the 100% tariff will be $200, right? But now you got to calculate for the 4%, and it's like, that's just insane. What do you mean 104%? Like, that just makes so much, math so much more harder. The other problem with this, Kevin, or Chad Allen Smith, I should say, is that this is now going to be passed down to the consumers. So this is why everybody is in a panic and an uproar, because it's not going to be Donald Trump that feels it. It's not. It's going to be you. It's going to be I that feels these tariffs when the businesses pass this cost down onto their customer. Because, for instance, we, at my job, I'm in the restaurant industry, and we're having trouble sourcing pineapples down. Obviously, we import pineapples from Dole, which usually stems out of Hawaii. in more tropical nations, and bananas from further down south in Florida or other tropical nations. And we're having trouble getting that product sourced to us due to tariffs and the trade war and stuff like that. So now, when we obviously that creates a demand for it, it creates I'm having a brain fart, but it creates power and demand, which makes the cost rise, right? So in order for us to get, they have a few bananas left. There's only 100 cases of bananas in the market, and there's all these places that need bananas, so they skyrocket the price for the bananas, and if you pay for those bananas, you pass that cost on down. Shane said that would be like ordering shoes off Flight Club, them charging you for the shoes, which is already marked up for a profit, state taxes, shipping, and handling, and then another 104% for the fuck of it. Exactly, and that's what's going on. Shane says, why would you buy from Flight Club anymore? Exactly. So that's the con of the tariffs, is that some people think that is going to collapse the economy, because obviously consuming is probably going to be down when it comes to that, if they impose these certain tariffs, if we get in a trade war with certain nations and stuff like that. But I mean, we'll see. There's power and demand, supply and demand, and we'll see. There's going to be products that you absolutely can't live without, and there's going to be a higher associated cost with them now. Just simple as it comes. I mean, I'm thinking of food, and we don't produce vegetation here much in the United States. A lot of our vegetation and stuff like that, as far as vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, come from sovereign nations. So now the thing with that is, we're going to find a way to bully them. That's what happens. We're going to find a way to bully these other nations, and they'll get that worked out somehow. I need to put my phone on the charger. Bear with me. But Israel bombed, or they killed an American citizen yesterday, by the way. And they're getting away with it. It was an Palestinian American that got killed, ruthless, for no reason. So this is like the second or third American citizen they killed. They haven't had an answer for it. They won't answer for it. They keep covering it up and lying. Bear with me here. Oh, I got a comment. No, that's fake news. So don't even. But that's so Disney. I hate. Listen, get on X. Anything you see on Facebook is a lie, dude. You know that. Facebook is literally so embarrassing. No, martial law is not coming in on 420. That is such fake Facebook news. I hate that shit. God, Facebook is the worst source for any information ever. Mark Zuckerberg should be ashamed of himself. That website is just literally brain rot. It's just pure brain rot. Martial law is not coming 420. That is just fake news. I mean, I've seen that comment. I've seen everybody sharing it. I'm like, y'all are so goddamn dumb. I'm like, y'all are literally so dumb. Y'all literally believe anything. He said that ain't happening. Like, I don't even know. That's just controlled opposite. That's just some white dude sat in a video like me and said, "Oh yeah, there's going to be martial law." Like, the fuck is that going to do right now? Let me go through something now here real quick while I got y'all waiting. I did want to say, my phone is getting ready to die. Fucking, damn. He said everybody my age sharing it now. We the old heads. Y'all just don't know where to go get y'all. He said they would pick such a Facebook day too. What do you mean 420? Right. Right. Fuck, what was I about to say? Oh, did y'all see anything with the? And this is kind of well off topic, but the uh, Adam 22 thing, where he's. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Apparently he is. Let's just cut the shit. Adam 22 is lying. He probably, I don't know what his business dealing is, but let's be real. He's being sued by an employee, probably some sort of sexual assault case or something weird, because all that goes on up at that show is weird, dumb shit. He also is all involved in the Big U situation and all that fake hood dumb shit that they do. So he's sitting up here trying to move shit around and try to hide shit. And you know, one of the ways you do that is convincing the people that you don't got money and that you're losing money and you're lying and you're he said Adam 22 is done with you niggas. That's what it is. Yeah, no, he's just protecting his. He's just lying. He's just lying. I seen it that first day, and I told everybody. I said, no, that's not true. I said that is just not true. I don't know. I don't know what he was bringing in and all that stuff like that. But to get on there and just randomly say that all of a sudden on Vlad or whatever, yeah, we haven't made money since COVID and we overexpanded and all that. Listen, we all know the game. You about to get sued and you hiding all your assets, and it ain't gonna work. He said he's a double agent. He gonna walk away scot-free. Kiki said crazy work. Yeah, he definitely a Fed. He's definitely a Fed. And it amazes me still to this day how people go up there and sit with this man. It literally, I mean, they're all Feds. You guys will be so shocked at how many of our entertainers, rappers and music artists and entertainers and stuff like that actually are essential. They work for the CIA. Or they sometimes, I shouldn't even say they work for the CIA. They are being used and propagated by the CIAs. A lot of them don't even know that they work for the CIA. I think about last week or 2 weeks ago, ended up being fake news, but a whole thing came out about how CIA Sexy Red was a CIA member, and she even commented on it. She shared it and it was just like LOL or some shit. But I've been calling Sexy Red CIA Red for a long time. He is just about to be Vlad Jr. Watch his net platform. It's gonna be that format. Just Adam talking to a guy. Kiki said they are definitely connected for sure. They definitely are, and it just amazes me how our people continuously. Here's my thing with our people. We are so hard-headed, man. We do not learn from others' mistakes. We're like the dumb mice that see the mice trap, see the cheese, but they also see the mouse in the trap. And then they continuously try to get the cheese out of the trap. We do it in all avenues, all across the nation, in all different fields. We're still going broke. We still got, there's 60% of athletes that retire and within a couple of years they lose all their money. We still get on these shows. We still go up and sit with Vlad TV and incriminate ourselves. We still sell our companies and sell our businesses and sell our lands. And we got all this years of evidence, all this information. We literally live in a time where information couldn't be more valuable, more accessible. You used to have to go to the library and the Congressional Library and the Smithsonian and all these different things and read actual documents and certified documents and stuff like that to get the information that we can get at our fingertips now, literally. And we have all that information, and we still fall for the same traps. We still put ourselves in the same positions, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And the reason why I'm saying that to say is that this Adam 22 thing is no different. Shane just mentioned that he's going to turn into like Vlad. And my question, he said more fake too. My question is, how is Vlad still around? Everybody in our community says he's a Fed. We've been hearing that for forever. He's a Fed. But then you'll still see Boosie go sit up there with him. You'll still see Charleston White go sit up with him. You'll still see academics go sit up with him. You'll still see all these different prominent prominent black figures go sit with Vlad TV. See him all the time, and he has reoccurring guests. He's on the same cycle every year. It's the same guests all the time. And it just begs me the question. I'm a little bit too savvy for that. I don't think that anything like that. I don't think anything's an accident. And when I see that, I go, well, who are they working for? Because there's just no way that you would go sit up there. Boosie done been up there 4 or 5 times. Seriously. Just within the last couple of years. Boosie's up there like every 4 or 5 months. Boosie is up sitting with Vlad TV. Well, Vlad did say he pays. I remember when that came out. He pays Boosie like $2 million an episode. Most of them are getting caught up now. He pays good, right? And that's my point about how you can work for the CIA and not even know it. That's called bought and paid for. That's called bought and paid for. So Boosie probably thinks, yeah, I'll come up here and talk to this white man. Right. And I understand all that. But again, that's how I said a lot of these people are part of that Central Intelligence Agency and they don't even fucking know. When you could be bought like that, when you know you're sitting up there and talking to a Fed, but he pays you well, what would be any difference from that just because it's Vlad with you striking a deal with the Feds? That's what snitching is. That's what they pay snitches on the street to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they pay people to do. And that's what wires are for. And it's the same thing. You going up there and sitting with a known federal informant because he pays you $2 million, he pays good on episodes. It's like, no, you're a Fed. That's being bought and paid for, and that's working for them. So that's just how my take on it is. And the other thing is, I wish Shannon Sharp, Boosie just hit some people he didn't hit. I don't know what that means. Boosie got to stop sitting with Vlad, period. Boosie got to stop sitting with Vlad. And I never liked any of the guests on Adam 22. Adam 22 is a fucking weirdo. He's a weirdo. Kiki said that's the new hood snitching. For sure. For sure it is. And I mean, you wonder why all of these rappers and stuff like that are getting caught up in RICO cases and stuff like that. We sit up there and we tell every single thing we do. We tell, and y'all can thank another person y'all can thank for that is Mr. Aubrey Graham himself as well, who literally 2 years ago, when Young Thug was going through his situation, signed that petition to say that you should not be able to use, because it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it became a thing where the courts were trying to use, they were trying to indict rappers on rap lyrics and stuff like that, and that was a big deal, right? Drake was one of the people to sign the petition to say that's not fair use. You should not be able to use rappers' lyrics into an indictment. Well, turn around and 2024 happens, and who do we have using a rapper's lyrics for a court case? Very interesting. Let's see what Shane says. Shane says, how much longer until streamers get people like Adam out of here? No Jumper was only good with T-Rail, Smack, AD, and Do Know. Adam and Vlad's days are numbered. I don't know how numbered they are. I really don't. And Kiki said, after sitting in those interviews, hold on. Let me read your first comment. They either end up in prison or dead, real talk, after sitting on those interviews. And she's 100% right. She's 100% right. It never turns out well for any of them, ever. And Shane, you asked if you said that their days are numbered and streamers get them out of there. Maybe. And, I got to beef with everything, and I got to beef with everybody. But, because I know, I got my own issues with the streaming community. I do. Our people have to gatekeep things, man. We have to gatekeep things better. We could not be so inclusive. I get it. Everybody's trying to get a bag. I get it. Spread the wealth and shit like that. But all it does is deviate us from what we are actually trying to do. And the streaming community was cool when that's what they were doing. But when the streaming community got bought by the rap community, or vice versa, the rap community got bought by the streamers, that's when you lose me, man. I've never been a fan of the streamers entering the whole Kai Cenat and Aiden Ross and them getting to talk about hip hop, and those being now, instead of you going to Breakfast Club and all these different platforms to promote your album, no, now you go sit with Kai Cenat and all these people like that. That's when you lose somebody like me. Because how are we validating Kai Cenat and Aiden Ross's ass? I hear Aiden Ross talk about hip hop like it's law. And I'm like, dog, you don't know your ass from fucking apple butter. How are you talking anything to do with hip hop, dog? Who made you the voice? Now I'm seeing that he got an interview scheduled with Drake on April 14th. Aiden Ross. As if like that's the interview Drake should give. Aiden Ross. Like we want to hear from fucking Aiden Ross. DDG, yeah. Waters it down. Shane says, also score one for Joe and Ish when they brought Adam up in there and told his ass about himself, and the whole internet told Joe and Ish to shut the fuck up. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Called him out, called his bluff, called him a vulture, and called him predatory. And he is. And I mean, him surviving through the whole porn thing that he pulled back in 2021 or whenever that was, I was just like, dog, you know what? Here's my thing with y'all. The internet's so wide and expansive. There's a community for everything. That's what we're finding out. There's a community for everything. So I don't hate. I don't hate and stuff like that. I try to tell y'all with somebody like even Damon Darling, not my shit. Kai Cenat and all them DDG, not my shit. But I let them. Y'all know what? Go ahead. It's when they try to bridge over into my world and some of the shit that I'm into, and it's like whoa. Y'all stay over there. Same with Adam 22. I don't know how in the fuck y'all let him survive that whole weird ass gay porn shit that he pulled. But like I said, if y'all like it, I love it. You know, Malcolm X said this, and I bring this up often. Malcolm X said this about our people. He said that our people was like, he said he compared our people to like a pig instead of a cow. You know, a cow has 5 stomachs. A cow has a lot of stomachs, and that gut is really important because it helps. It pulls. It helps. Categorize the good from bad. It separates the good from bad, kind of like your laundry, and then it flushes it out. You have waste, but a pig just consumes every fucking thing, and it doesn't waste a lot. A pig doesn't sweat it out. A pig doesn't shit it out. Well, it'll shit it out, but it didn't eat its own shit. So all that toxic waste, a pig is just going to recycle it over and over and over and over again. And Malcolm X said that is our people. Our people is really, really smart, but we are so expansive. We love so much and we like so much shit that we just eat the good and the bad, and we don't waste none of it. And that's always been my beef with people. I'm like, I sit here and I am known for this with my friends, with myself. Y'all know I don't watch low budget shit. I don't watch ghetto, hood, whack, dumb shit. I watch what I watch, meaning I literally am cognizant of what I'm watching. I make sure I don't just watch everything. I don't just scroll on TikTok and let them show me anything. I don't watch people getting shot. I'm really, really controlling on what I'm ingesting into my body as far as visually and sonically too. Y'all know I'm like that with music. I'm very careful on what I listen to, very careful on what I watch, because that is the number one controlling force out there. Music controls is the only thing in this universe that accesses all 100% of your brain. All your brain waves are activated when there's music going through your ears. Okay, so the power of 100% of your brain. We only use a little percent of our brain. I just went a long rant. I didn't read any of these comments. The fall of Drake and Adam 22 happened at the same time for real. Except for MacWap. Bet he do what he want podcast. Now, see, MacWap, that's the difference. And that's why And I know you're gonna say you just such a capper. That's the difference. I can appreciate people have this misconception that I don't like any hood shit. No, I like. I love to see. Um, Let me see. I love to see some hood shit that is with purpose and shit like that. You know, and it's concentrated. It's I can't stand dumb nigga shit. Straight up. Let's just put it that way. I can't stand dumb nigga shit that's meaningless and there's really no ends to it. Mean it's the same cyclical nature. Nigga sitting around doing the three strike shit, talking about the same shit that's gonna get you in three strikes. It's the same shit, like I said, with the mice and the trap. I can't stand sitting around a bunch of niggas in real life or on TV hearing them talk about shit that's gonna put you in that same trap that you seen your dad go through, your grandpa go through, your uncle go through, your cousin go through, and nigga, you still can't learn. You still can't learn. You done seen everybody in your family meet the same fate, doing the shit that you doing, talking about the shit you doing, thinking the same way you thinking, and it don't cross your mind that maybe you might want to be the one to switch it up a little bit. It's idiotic. It's super idiotic. Chad Allen Smith says Mac Wappa Wobbler though he still be streaming with Adam. Yeah, I don't be feeling all. Anybody gonna lose me when they start dealing with Adam and Vlad and all that shit. I'm not a fan, man. I just simply ain't a fan. Kanye West on my last nerve. I ain't even gonna get into that. What else? What else y'all want to talk about real quick before I go? I feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of things. I had a list, but I don't have access to it. I do want to put my name up on the thing. Y'all see the host there. Trying to think what else I wanted to talk about, and I'm blanking on it. Really blanking on it. Fuck. Oh, I know. I know what it was. Oh, it's gonna get a little bit controversial. We got Carmelo Anthony news about Carmelo Anthony, and not the one that just made the Hall of Fame. When I first heard the news, Carmelo Anthony stabs, high school kid. I'm like, fake news. Like, what do you mean Carmelo Anthony stabs high school kid? I'm like, that is just such fake news. I'm not watching that. Then I see it. I lost connection. And then I look into it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. So it's actually, I think, a 17-year-old high school kid has a little dispute with another one at a track meet over a seat in a tent spot or something, and a 17-year-old kid named Carmelo Anthony stabs Austin Metcalf or something like that, stabs and kills him, and obviously this sparks outrage across the nation because the right gets a hold of it, and they're like, and I really I wish I had full access to my account because I wanted to share my screen so we could go through these tweets. I just want y'all to see, maybe it's just my X, but X is the wild, wild west, y'all. If you don't have an X account, get an X account because obviously, it's so much better than Facebook and other media platforms because it's like the TikTok sphere of actual social commentary. X is like live news, fast, like right away. I get on Facebook and they're talking about shit on Facebook a week later than when you get it on X. You get the shit right away. If something happened right now, they're talking about it on X right now. Facebook, it takes a couple days because you got a little bit of Nimrods on X. Oh, okay. We got somebody coming out the. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Shane said, hold on. We gonna get to all of this. All of the all the chats. Side note: retire birth 15s in Denver, and that isn't talked about enough. How bad managing that is on your hometown heroes. I hate them type of white people. Yeah. See, I just think that obviously Denver couldn't prepare for Kiki. We're gonna get to what you said. Stay right there. Obviously Denver couldn't prepare for what Jokic turned into. Nobody predicted Jokic turned into this monster that he's become. So
I think that they always, I mean, Carmelo would have always got. Well, they did say a long time ago that they could, because they could have retired Melo's jersey a long time ago, but they didn't. Um, and now they're in a situation where it's like, that's kind of a messy situation. It's kind of whack that Jokic took the number 15 too, but another topic for another day. But yeah, I don't know what you do. But Carmelo was definitely a Denver legend. I mean, in fact, we wouldn't even think of the Nuggets. When you think of the Denver Nuggets, I guess you think Jokic now, but like to me, he's still actively playing. I still see that light powdery blue, and I still see Carmelo Anthony. I still think Carmelo Anthony when I see the Denver Nuggets. Um, Shane said, "Understand what you had when he left." Yeah, but that he left on some funny business too. Carmelo did leave in a funny way. I guess they did get some trade pieces back for Carmelo, and it ended up working out for the Nuggets because they. I remember they got Danilo Gallinari and Lawson and all these different trade Landry. They got a whole bunch of people for Carmelo Anthony back then, and but they were mad at Melo for a little bit of time. So. Yep, another topic for another day. Letting these white people who aren't even in tune with hoop culture enough to know don't touch 15 in Denver. Exactly. Europeans done absolutely took over the NBA, and that's why the NBA is in the shape it's in. But back to the Carmelo Anthony I want to talk about. Kiera says that I believe it was self-defense. It was all over a seat that it didn't belong to nobody. Okay, that's an interesting point. Um, Here's the thing. Um, God is a funny God. That's what I'll say to this. God is a funny God, and I will not allow the villainization of George Floyd go unnoticed. And I've been thinking about this for months. I think I've said it before. The right or white people out there, racist white people in this country, have been tarnishing. They've been working for 2 straight years now to tear down George Floyd's name. Oh, he was on fentanyl. The dude didn't kneel on him really long. It was the fentanyl that killed him. He was a drug addict. He was a gang member. He was a thug. He deserved to die. And like I said, if you get on X, you'll see the most blatantly racist. It's not like it's like Blake, and sometimes it's obviously people trolling and shit like that, trying to get under your skin, but it's like real live, like venom behind the racism. Um, and I say that to say, here America is presented. What God will do is if you don't learn your lesson, He'll present that lesson to you over and over again. It's like the great game of Mario. And in Mario, you're not able to advance to the next level until you beat level fucking 1 or level 2. You can't. You gonna stay there, and it's gonna drive you fucking crazy. You gonna switch the fucking modes and try to get it on easier mode and all that shit like that. But unfortunately, in life, I mean, there is modes that you can switch it. Money and all this kind of shit is cheat codes and shit like that. My point is, God will continue to spawn and respawn you into the same situation, your same situation. It's across all platforms. This is in your day-to-day life. This is at your work. It's at your job. This is in your relationship and shit like that. Shit don't change until you get up and wipe your ass. That's just what it is, and that's what that means. So God will continue to present us as a people with the same scenario, same situation. He may switch it up here and there with names and different the details of the devil's in the details. But here's what's going on. You got a 17-year-old black kid and a 17-year-old white kid, and now the roles are reversed. Now we have a black kid murdering allegedly a white kid, and um, the reason how this blew up is that some people defending Austin Metcalf said that if the roles were reversed, excuse me, if the roles were reversed, this would be a national story. So the story started gaining traction. The story started gaining a lot of traction. And now they're trying to make this into a race thing after Austin Metcalf's father said it was not a race thing. Um, America is being presented with this problem again. And you also got to see who's in the White House right now. Donald Trump is in the White House. He's always been accused of racism and dividing our country in this way. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this case plays out. Here you got, it's really funny. Here you got a country that just all of 3 months ago was literally cheering on Luigi Mangione. He literally assassinated, a silent style, an innocent man. That's what he did. He literally hunted him down and shot him and left him memos and all types of shit. And you had 90% of the country cheering this man on, saying that he fucked that healthcare CEO. This man had a family. This man had kids and shit like this. And granted, this was mayonnaise crime. This was white on white crime. So the healthcare situation was not black on white. I'm just trying to highlight to you guys the nature of some of these people's violence and how they feed off. They love violence, but it's until it's a race situation to where you'll really see some true colors come out. And I'm not the race. I'm not the guy that's just trying to. I'm not that surface level. My point is that God has a funny way of presenting this nation the same thing and seeing how we handle this. Now the shoes are on another foot. It's a black guy killing a white guy, and they're saying, "Oh, woe is me. This should have national coverage." I seen somebody say they should take the streets like we did when George Floyd was murdered. And to Kiera's point earlier, the country is so quick to judge, so quick to rush out and judge and come to these conclusions. We never learn from anything in the past. We never learn from anything in the past. Like she said, can we wait and see, is this a case of self-defense? One, a lot of people are making the claim that this is a case of self-defense. Carmelo Anthony's family they created a GoFundMe account, and because his bail was set at $1 million, go figure. They always give us these crazy bails. $1 million. They're trying to get that reduced, his bail reduced. His family was trying to raise $150,000. I think last time I checked, it was at $170,000. So our people, black people, did stand up. You got to think. We can go down the list. Dylan Roof, who shot people in a fucking church and got a burger. He got fed by the cops in the back while he was being detained. You got George Zimmerman, who they raised a lot of money for. You got who was my man at the riots that ran over a whole bunch of and shot a whole bunch of people? Not Dylan Roof, but guy in Milwaukee. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. They raised all this money. They anytime Derek Chauvin, the guy that kneeled on George Floyd, they raised a lot of fucking money for this man. And anytime I seen that, I go like, these people are sick. These are people that murder people in cold blood. George Zimmerman murdered Trayvon Martin in cold fucking blood. Indicted, charged. They didn't give a fuck. They raised money for him. So, anyways, they did. My point is that, listen, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So our people is in supporting Carmelo Anthony. Apparently, GoFundMe said that they do not support shit like this. I just feel like I remember seeing money being raised for all different types of other things, but that's me. GoFundMe said that they are not getting involved with this. So now they use some sort of other go fly by me, go fund something, fund go something, and the money is being raised. Point of the matter. Carmelo Anthony has maintained that it was self-defense from the time that the cops pulled up to the scene. He said he told them that I did this crime, but he explained to them and said could this be considered self-defense? He explained to them what happened. Apparently, allegedly, what happened is Carmelo was sitting under a tent that was not his, and Austin Metcalf, and along with his brother, Kyle. I can't remember his last name, but yeah, his first name is definitely Kyle. Kevin says they trying to stop you. Your camera keep going out. Yeah, I already done. Why the fuck would they name him Carmelo Anthony? Annoying as fuck. Here's the thing. I am not exhausting my energy. I told y'all during the election cycle, I said Donald Trump, when he gets elected, there's going to be a race. They're going to try to highlight race, the race situation in America, and it's going to cause a great divide. So we are. I mean, we see the play, and I'm not going to get all up in arms about it. My point is that can the American people just wait to see how this plays out? Like I said, we've. He said, "Yeah, the real Carmelo Anthony is not happy right now." That's immediately what I thought. The whole time I'm like, Carmelo Anthony. I was hearing this, and I'm like, I don't care about this fake news. But now if you're Carmelo Anthony, you're like, this is annoying. Like if you're Carmelo Anthony with a C, you're like, whatever. Point of the matter is, everybody hold your horses, man. Don't be so quick to judge and rush and shit like that. Yes, tragically, a young man lost his life. Like I was saying, over a tent situation. Kevin said, when I first saw the headline, I was hoping Melo stabbed KG. That's funny. But fuck them. Y'all laughed about George Floyd for all these months, but now we're smoking on Austin Metcalf pack. So there's that. That's all I got. That's what I got to say. Fuck them. Fuck them. Don't be so quick to judge. Keep your hands to yourself now. Carmelo Anthony, I think that there's some sort of crime to bringing a knife in a school zone. I mean bringing an unauthorized weapon in a school zone. Now, can he get off with self-defense? I mean, they're obviously probably going to try to charge. We got to see. We got to see what they try to prosecute. I mean, how the prosecutor goes about this. If they try to charge him with murder, manslaughter, or whatever they try to charge him with. Because some people are making the claim that this is premeditated because he brought a knife in and he alluded to him having a weapon right away, and so that it was more premeditated. We'll have to see. I don't know about that. Apparently, the dude said get out of the tent. And the dude said, "Don't touch me, and see, if you touch me, find out." Some dumb shit like that. Sounds like teenage kids fighting, and somebody got stabbed in the heart. It's an unfortunate situation. I just know, like, the big loser in all of this is yeah. I mean, we've seen our niggas get hung for less. I mean, hell. But maybe, I don't know, we're seeing a turning of the guard. Maybe the spirit of Tamar Rice and Emmett Till can evoke finally a fair trial, and maybe one of our niggas can get off. I think the only one of our niggas to ever get off is like OJ. They're trying to hang Luigi Mangione. They're shooting for the death penalty for Luigi Mangione. They want him dead. I think we know why they want him dead, but I know more than half of America was excited that he murdered somebody in cold blood. I mean, everybody was cheering, and he raised all types of money. Women were throwing panties at him, and I mean, now obviously, I mean, they turned Luigi Mangione into some like sex icon, some sex figure, and I mean, I get it, but we'll have to see how this plays out. I just caution everybody to get. And not you guys here. I don't think everybody here is that emotionally strained by it, but I caution the nation to not get so caught up again in that mousetrap that we see over and fucking over again, over and over again. And with all this going on, trade wars, actual boots on the ground wars, drone wars, Trump, Trump, be careful now. Kira said it's just crazy because this stuff happens all the time around the world and is never talked about. That is correct. That is correct, and it makes you wonder how stories get picked up like this. But we've also seen, you know what was funny? We've also seen authentic stories come about like this. I think of the whole they're eating cats and dogs story, and I'm like, man, that couldn't be more authentic. Now that story was politicized. It definitely was heavily politicized, but it was an organic story. It wasn't like there was a big controlling person, making these fake stories or anything like that. But Winston Churchill said a long time ago, "You never let a good crisis go to waste." So sometimes there's a crisis, and there's usually a man there to come up and swoop in on it, and their job is to how can they profit off of these situations. That's their job. But like for instance, I mean, this is just a random thought, but I think about the central banks and how they kind of play a part, and they're doing it still today. How they will literally, the central banks will fund both sides of a war. You know what I'm saying? And they've been doing this since the beginning of their inception. They literally fund Germany, and they fund they would fund Hitler. They would give him money, and literally why Hitler, and when I say with the most power, but they will fund the own genocide of their own people. And because what that does is, they get richer from those things. When there's war and stuff like that, like and countries have to borrow and default on loans and stuff like that, and borrow and all the interest that is garnered from those situations, they get richer and they get more and more powerful from that stuff like that. They've been doing that since the beginning of time. So again, never letting a good crisis go to waste. But my whole point is that all this shit going on, the trade wars, we got 104% tariff on China. We'll see how that goes. You got Trump dropping bombs on what he considered to be the Houthis for fucking up international trade. We haven't gotten the facts on that. You got Bibi Netanyahu in the White House. You got Kanye West going on crazy rants. You got Carmelo Anthony stabbing KG. All that shit. And you still got flat earthers trying to convince us the earth is flat. Shut the fuck up. Like, we don't care. We literally don't care. I see every fucking day a post about these flat earthers trying to convince us that the earth is flat. Dog, we don't fucking care. We literally don't care. Like, that is way too out there for us, okay? I'm far out there, but, like, that's way too fucking far out there. So, flat earthers, my flat earthers out there, please, just shut the fuck up. We're dealing with enough. We don't need y'all to continue to try to beat down our fucking throat that the earth is flat. We don't believe that. I'm out. Peace.